everyone, welcome to the channel. Did you know, and this is going to sound really silly, but one of the very first things I was worried about on my first cruise was falling off. Let's talk about that, shall we? Mind you, a lot of this fear was fueled by Poseidon Adventure, which I watched about 50 million times as a kid. And now that I'm more rotund and old, I wouldn't stand a chance, much like Shelley Winter, if something like this did happen. That cruise was way back in 2016 and I'm still here today.
I didn't get blown off the cruise ship in wet weather.
In this video, I'm going to cover how in all likelihood there is no way that you'll be able to just simply fall off a cruise ship. I'm also going to show you some of the really stupid things that people have done that nearly got themselves killed. And let's take a look at some of these idiots right now, shall we? Check out these two twits, Tweedledee and Tweedledummer. To get to their cabin for a start, they must have walked past at least a few hundred chairs, and then they walked through the two that are still sitting on the balcony to go and prop themselves up here, and for what reason, who knows? Of all the places they could be sitting and enjoying the scenery, they choose this one, which is surely going to get them kicked off. And then there's this woman, obviously being a really good neighbour, prop yourself up, have a chat with who's next door. No worries, just straddle the railing while you're doing it. I hope she's got thighs of steel, and she's clamped on. It's a long way to fall. And now we get into the realm of Instagram influencers. Or it could be TikTok, who knows. But, I love taking a good selfie myself. I do it for the channel. Jeff and I will get in behind the camera, but usually are inside the ship when we do this, not climbing outside the railing and hanging on for dear life with one hand while the other hand's taking a photo. They're obviously a few cans short of a six-pack, these people. I don't know what ever happened to this generation. They are insane. But wait, here's more. You just imagine the conversation between these three, can't you? Oh, I'd really like to get a photo. Oh, okay, just up against the railing. Oh, no, hang on. I've got a better idea, Jules. How about I just get up on the railing? I kick back, look relaxed. I'm on a cruise and all that. Here, take my phone. Oh, all right then. Make sure you hold on. This is going to look so good on your Instagram. At what point did the two twits standing there watching her do this think to step in and go, you know what? Maybe this isn't a good idea? This group of people haven't heard of cabin doors. The ones that you go through, takes you to the hallway, and you can kind of just knock. How damn lazy do you have to be to not go up one flight of stairs and instead choose to go and climb up and get yourself into a dangerous situation, and one which is going to get you kicked off? I cannot fathom the stupidity of these people. What was he handing the kid? A Pepsi? What can I say, right? I now understand why we have to have so many labels on things as warnings. I also believe that some of these people are responsible for the fact that we have to have limits on alcohol on cruises, because you give these idiots alcohol and it only makes it worse. And alcohol was pretty much responsible for this next stunt. Up on the 11th deck, fueled on by some mates who had been up drinking with him till about 4 a.m. in the morning, as the story goes, dare him to take a jump. Of course he takes the dare. He does the plunge from the 11th story. Hits the water hard, injuring his neck and his tailbone. No doubt his family jewels were the size of watermelons after all this, but they didn't mention that in the story. He wasn't able to sleep for 3 days. He and all of the mates that were there egging him on got kicked off the cruise ship, which was the right thing to do. This guy is lucky to be alive. Sticking with the theme of people voluntarily jumping off cruise ships, here's another one. It's quite possible he sailed with P&O before and didn't really like the tender process, because he decided he wanted to be first off the ship and start enjoying his little holiday before anybody else. Needless to say, his holiday was over before it began. In all seriousness, I think younger people of today will do absolutely anything they can to get a viral video. This young person decided he would hang from the side of a cruise ship, and he was lucky he had some mates with him, because he actually needed a bit of a help up. For the sake of a few likes, he risked being dragged underneath the cruise ship and chopped up with the propellers. Yep, they're coming out of the woodwork now, folks. Here's another one, jumping straight off the bow. They're at port. Same thing, doesn't know what's in the water. Having to find your own way home is certainly a way to learn a lesson. I included this story only because it's a little bit strange. Whilst the story said she fell off the cruise ship, turns out there is another rumoured story going around the internet space that it was a drunken jump from the cruise ship because her and her boyfriend had been fighting all day. She is so lucky to have been found alive and not eaten by sharks. And it's made me think, I didn't need to worry about falling off a cruise ship. I just need to make sure that I don't hang around with any of these idiots. In In terms of my experience on the cruise, I felt entirely safe the whole time. In public areas, what you will find is there are often big glass panels between you and the edge. The railings are often quite high, so I know that when we were coming out of Sydney, I had my elbows sort of rested. It was quite a high railing. In the event of bad weather, you don't even get to go outside. In fact, you are asked to remain indoors. And that's a good thing. If you ever get a chance to head up and have a look at the workings of a cruise ship, you'll know that they have got so much technology there. They have lots of warning about the weather, and when it's coming, they're able to move around it, unless of course you have a captain who just passed his exams and doesn't really know what he's doing. And there have been some instances of that. Like when they start emptying the pools and they start putting all the alcohol away, you know that you might be in for a decent night. And don't forget the sick bags hanging from the stairwell. And in that case, you wouldn't venture outdoors. In fact, it's really quite uncomfortable to try and get through the door to get out on deck. You wouldn't want to stay out there for any great length of time. It's not fun. Best to stay indoors and try and enjoy yourself as much as you can with what's left open. I've never actually heard of anyone getting blown off a cruise ship. I don't want to say that it can't happen, but I tell you what, the odds of that happening would have to be very, very slim. Just remember that overboard incidents on cruise ships are extremely rare. I do think that cruise ships need to get better at making sure they have motion sensor software along the sides of their ship. Not only so they can capture these Instagram idiots doing what they do, but also if there is an incident where having them can save a person's life, then I think that's worth every dollar spent. So if you're a bit like me and you're a bit worried about falling off, don't worry, you'll be fine. They're quite safe places to be. I'm going to start putting a few more videos like this up on the channel, and they will go alongside our travels around Tasmania, the travels that we do in our A-van caravan, a little bit of solo with Jeff also. So we're just branching out a little bit more. So if there's anything in particular that you'd like us to have on the channel, make sure you let us know. Thanks for sticking around and watching, and I will see you next time. Oh, stay safe. Watch out for those Instagrammers.